All right, good morning. Welcome to Southwest Flavor. Happy Tuesday to everyone. This is episode number 53. And today we are having a conversation with David Samorano of MOV, which is Marana Oro Valley Experience. It's their Monday podcast.
Yeah. I am so happy to be here again with you, Ron. This is cool, man. I get to sit here and drink coffee with you.
Right. Have a conversation.
Have a conversation about a cool platform that we've been working on. You know, we've built a few local promotional platforms on social media, websites, and different things. We had Local Marana was the first one that we built. And then we built a news-oriented site. This is marana.com for a while.
Oh, okay.
And then what we did, we learned from that. It was like a really good testing space, right? We're like, hey, we do want to have some sort of online blog news platform that's outside of the noise and promote a lot of local stuff and positive things. And so we've moved that into Cornerstone Republic, which is still being built. There's a lot of stuff going into it. And then, you know, we came up with, we did a little bit of like a Marana foodie thing for a while.
Oh, really?
And then cool. We found that, like, well, what if we take all those concepts and we put them into one thing, but we also incorporate the experience of the area into it?
Right.
And so that's where we came up with the Marana and Oro Valley Experience. We own the trade name on that, which is cool. And the domain. So if you want to go, we actually have a website / app that's in beta.
Oh, wow.
So when we say that, we use that as a caution of like, hey, it's still being built, but you get to see the bare bones of it.
Yeah.
And play with it a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing a push to get, you know, different restaurants and businesses listed on it.
Right.
And experiences listed on it. And it's not going to cost anything for anybody. They can just like send in info, pictures and stuff. We're just going to take emails and different things to send out notifications as things go.
Right.
But the goal of it is to promote stuff that's going on here and people that like tourists, when they come here, give them another resource to use.
Yeah. They can just jump on the app and look for stuff to do, look for stuff to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to do some campaigns nationwide as we move into next year as a way to bring people in. Because one thing people they got to understand is that this economy here, we grow when we have people come and visit and spend money and do things at events, right?
Oh, yeah. When our winter visitors come and the population expands, I mean, they're spending money here.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I had just seen Grant Kruger talking on Wake Up, I think it was last week. He was filling in for Chris, and he was talking about how the restaurants really have to work the seasons, right?
Yes.
There's a really busy season, and then when the summer comes, it kind of just drops.
Oh yeah,
right. Like you don't have a lot of activity going on,
right?
And so we all know that the heat changes a lot of people's minds. Like the tourism's going to go down a little bit in the summer, but there's still things to do here, right? There's things we can put together and grow still, right? We can do things that are indoors that have a combination of indoor, outdoor pool, food, different things you can have going on, you know, and there's great resorts that are in the area that could accommodate that could accommodate these different events. And then you bring in local food vendors and there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of things to expand on.
Right.
And so we want to be one of the big supporters of that with Marana Oro Valley Experience, or MOV Experience.
Right.
And so with that in mind, you know, we've had conversation with other, you know, there's DMOs in the area, right? And so people if you don't know what that is or understand what that is, it's a destination marketing organization. And these are affiliated with the town entities, right? You have the town of Marana has theirs, and then the town of Oro Valley has theirs. Well, we're not part of those. Right? So we don't want people to be confused on that at all. But what we are is we're a catalyst to those.
Yeah.
Right? What's wrong with another resource that's very nimble and fast and can update things and provide insight? So we just shared a video on Sunday of a new Ganaceria that's here.
Right. Just down the street.
Yeah. You know, my wife and I were hanging out. We're like, hey, let's go get some meat. Let's barbecue today. Let's grill. Let's go get some carne asada.
And we've been waiting for that thing to open forever.
I saw that in the comments. People were like, yeah, and I've been waiting for 2 years. You know? And it's finally here, and it's really awesome. The things that blew us away right away was the customer service was awesome. Everybody was very friendly. Hey, how can we help you? There's a good sitting room where you can go to and order food and hang out.
Okay.
You know, the AC was cranking. It was beautiful.
Right.
And there's just so much color on the inside. So I think that's why the video did so well. So I think as of today, the video's at like 42,000 views on Instagram.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, just in a couple days. People are sharing it like they're excited, right? You see people in the area going, man, there's somewhere else to go to where I can get some good meat. Mm-hmm. They've got vegetables. They've got all the stuff you would want to have paired up with.
Throw it on your
proteins.
Grill. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they got, the best part is they have the candy.
Oh, really?
The Mexican candy? Oh,
yeah.
I grew up eating all that stuff.
Sure.
So I lived on Anita Street for a while.
Oh,
growing up over there in Barrio Anita. Mm-hmm. And I was able to walk down to the Anita tortilla shop.
Right.
And I could get candy, I could get tortillas, I could get burritos, like just walk down there. And to have something like that has that flavor here on this side of town, I think people have been really, really wanting that. Because I truly believe people enjoy smoking and grilling and doing their own thing. I know you're one of them. Right. And so it gives people the opportunity to do that. And you get that fresh feeling. All the vegetables and everything there were just so awesome. They've got a whole row of different salsas. And
plus it's part of our culture.
Yes.
It is. It's part of the Southwest.
Yeah, the Southwest flavor, right?
That's right.
There's a flavor. People will come here for the cuisine.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll come here for that part of the experience.
Yeah.
And this side of town hasn't had that for a while. We've got some great establishments. I'm not going to knock.
Yeah, we have some nice great restaurants through here.
Yeah, but to be able to cook your own, you've always had to kind of drive a little ways to go get that good stuff.
Right, exactly.
We'd always plan it. Hey, which one we going to? Yeah. And now you've got that one here, and it's been fun building it and seeing it and the feedback we've been getting. Right. We want it to be a spot where people come in and go, hey, what am I going to do? The best part about it is, and I know some people are going to knock it, is we've incorporated AI to everything.
Yeah.
And we've got this AI local expert, and her name's Lila, that we've built, and we're training her every day.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so, but
AI is here.
It's here.
No matter if we like it or not, AI is here. And it's part of our everyday lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, who doesn't get on their phone and search for something or, a website and they're trying to write something or, there's a suggestion from the internet or on your phone. That's all AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. And so what Lila does is Lila cuts time for people, right? Yeah. There's some folks that are going to want to scroll and see pictures of things as we start adding stuff to the platform. But she gives you could talk to her. So you can just, hit a button and just start talking to her and engage with her. And so you can say, "Hey, I'm looking for a local spot that's close to where I'm at, where I live, and I'm looking for this type of food."
Yeah.
So Lila's going to give you recommendations. She's going to give you several of, ideas.
Right.
And so the concept of that is if somebody comes into town, they've got an easy resource instead of trying to scroll through websites and everything else.
Right.
They can just go, "Hey, Lila, what event is going on this week, or what restaurant should I go to?"
Right. Exactly.
You might get recommended, the core over in the Dove Mountain, the Ritz.
Oh, yeah.
Or you might end up at Westward Look with some of their rural burgers and other good treats. Or, you could end up wherever, she's sensing on what you're asking. Yeah. So Lila will think about what you're asking. So it's good to give it a good idea of what you're looking for.
Give it some details.
Yeah. For instance, hey, I'm in town. I've got a party of 4. We're looking for somewhere where we can go sit down and eat that's got good views and it's got a variety of different types of food or different flavors. You'll probably end up somewhere, that's going to give you that. Yeah. And,
and you probably recommend, hey, I want to stay in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm at Ina and Thornydale.
Right.
So I'd like to stay within a couple mile radius of this.
Right.
Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. And so Lila will help you with that. And as we continue to train Lila, she's going to learn how to do other things, like possibly help book with, if there's some other tour, like a tour or something. There's a really cool thing that this guy named Brad does. It's like Tucson food tours or something like that here in town. Okay. Yeah. And you can go, and I've been watching what he does, is you can go and book with him and he'll take you to different restaurants and different things, right? Like, well, is these areas.
We did that a long time ago. Before COVID. I don't know if it was with him.
You did?
Yeah. But we started downtown at Club Congress and had Bloody Marys. They have a huge Bloody Mary bar that they give you a whole sheet and you just pick the ingredients that you want and then they make it. And then from there, it was a walking tour. We just walked through downtown and went to different restaurants.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. So like that kind of stuff right there, that's a great experience. You're talking about something you remember, know, we're all programmed that way. Even our kids, my kids, they'll randomly bring up an experience that was so fun.
Yeah.
Hey, can we go back to Arizona? Yeah, why?
And if you can do something, get another couple that you enjoy spending time with, and you guys go do a food tour, or you go out to lunch, go out to dinner, whatever. It's a great experience.
Yeah, and that's why we feel like it's important for our platform to learn these resources that are here, because we're also making an economic impact with those people that have put that stuff together.
That's right.
Like, let's be real and give credit where credit's due. There's people like that putting in the effort and doing things.
Yeah.
Tucson Foodie works hard at promoting local food. It's a really well-known resource.
It is.
Yep. If somebody goes, "Hey, Lila, I'm looking to go somewhere in town," well, that should be something that, Lila goes, "Hey, maybe, check out Tucson Foodie or whatever else you're looking for. Hey, they recommend this," and it should be quick.
Yeah.
Because we all want
instant.
And that's why AI is here.
Right.
We all know that AI is here, and it's
cut down on the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's to make things easier and more efficient. So why not do that? And that's kind of what we're thinking with it. And what's cool is I sent Shay a screenshot of the app website on the phone. So that's the logo for it.
Okay.
And what's cool is when you go to the website, so there's Lila on the bottom right there. When you go,
the AI generated.
She's a lot prettier than me. She's not real, guys. So if you try to get her number, she's probably not gonna tell you.
You can't meet her for a date somewhere at one of these restaurants.
Yeah, and that's cool too about Lila. I don't want to give away a lot of stuff, but Lila, as the thing grows, Lila will have the ability to give discount codes to certain places.
Oh, wow.
If the right words and concepts are asked.
Okay.
Right? So if if we come up with an idea, Lila will be able to participate in whatever partnership we have going on with.
Very nice. Yeah.
So restaurant,
a restaurant that has a
resort,
promotion going on. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So she's smart. AI is trippy, because I was actually training her last week, and then she recommended another AI person, and then that person started trying to train me to leave my job. I'm joking. I'm joking. Your face.
I'm like, what?
My face. No, so I was joking about all that. I just like to make fun. But what you see here is, if you go to the website on your phone, it's going to automatically key this notification in and explain to you how to add this to your home screen.
Oh.
So what it'll do is it'll take it and add it to your phone as an app.
Right.
And it'll ask you if you want push notifications.
Okay.
So if you say yeah, so then we're going to be able to chat. We're going to be able to send stuff to you on your phone for reminders of events coming up, if there's any specials coming up or anything like that. And it'll just be on your home screen. And then you'll be able to open it, and it'll operate as an app. Okay. So we're going around the App Store, because the problem with the App Store is there's a ton of surcharges and different things you have to go through. So we have our online radio app with Live the Dream Media, and all the steps and stuff you have to go through to just get that on there.
Right.
And every year you got to follow up, and you got to sign new agreements, and if there's currency going through, you've got to keep track of all the different currencies. Like if you're going worldwide, there's different standards in different countries.
Oh, wow.
And then there's like a 30% surcharge on the money you make on your app.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So, I think that's a lot of reasons why you say DoorDash and other things on top of their delivery fees, and there's like service fees and all that stuff. They're trying to offset the app market with that. So, and that's predominantly Apple is the worst one.
Okay.
If you get a chance, Mark Zuckerberg kind of dropped a pretty good hammer on that information recently on a podcast, and he was talking about how Apple's pretty much squeezing folks at this point, because we've had the iPhone. He talks about how we've had the iPhones for quite some time.
Right. Yeah.
And they're just, what's different about this version now? We're getting to the point kind of like, but they make headphones that only operate with it, and different things. So The
other stuff is proprietary.
Yeah, the app market thing's kind of the same thing. So we were like, hey, how do we come up with an idea? Because we've been through that experience of building an app and sending it through. And we're like, hey, look, how can we go around that? And Tucson Foodie has a very similar build of their app that, it does the same thing, saves to your home screen, and it operates outside of the market. So smart move on them
Good
over there.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, if you get time, go and check it out. There's not a lot there yet, but you can kind of see the bare bones of it. And if you're an interested restaurant or experience or spa or something in the area and you want to be on there, just shoot us an email at contact@ltdmedia.net. Or you can just write the social media pages. Just send us some pictures that are awesome, what information you want on there, and a contact info and all your socials, because we'll have it link.
Okay.
Have it link up and do that.
All right. Well, let's take a quick sponsor break, and we will be back in just a couple minutes with Southwest Flavor.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday Mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
The summer is hot, but you don't have to be hot. Your air conditioner works hard to keep you cool all summer long. Call Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to keep your air conditioner running in tip-top shape for the long, hot summer. Our highly trained technicians will provide peace of mind knowing that you will be comfortable throughout the hot weather. Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. 520-492-0748.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
All right, welcome back to Southwest Flavor. We're talking with David Samorano. He has his own podcast on Monday mornings. It is the Marana Oro Valley Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It is.
Used to be local Marana, but we changed, like I said, we're changing out. We're broadening
broadening, the scope of it.
Bringing in leaders in the area to come and talk,
Right.
whether from Morro Valley, from Marana, from nonprofit world, just kind of everything.
I love that. Because most of us that live up here on the Northwest, we do a lot of things in both Oro Valley and Marana. We just, whether it's restaurants or different business or friends, family, we're just we encompass that whole area. So it's great to have a resource to for not only the people that travel here, but for the locals also.
Right. Some homegrown folks, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, it's been out in Marana for most of my life.
Yeah. You went to high school up here, right?
Middle school. I went to a little bit of elementary, excuse me, it was intermediate then. Future Rocks Intermediate out there.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of where I started.
Did you?
Grade,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and then, was out there for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know you were out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I've got a passion for out here, man. And
we've really seen the area grow in the last 30 years. This area has just exploded.
You remember when Silver Bell was just a tiny little road?
Yes.
And it was like this.
Yeah. And I remember when you went over the hill to Twin Peaks, and there was like a mile of dirt road because Marana said it wasn't theirs, and Pima County said it was Marana's, and they were going back and forth, so no one paved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. And it's like you think about Saguaro Bloom. You know, you remember how they got the project started and then the market crashed and it just sat as this vacant.
Right. Yeah. They had all those the spec homes, and I think eventually, they got broken into and vandalized and all that. I think they actually tore those down when they restarted the project.
I'm sure they weren't going to look anything like
they're
the houses
probably
now.
in bad shape. Yeah.
No, seen a lot of growth, and there are groups and people that don't want to see growth, and I get it.
I think that's everywhere.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get that you want that small town feel and all that, and I think that's always going to stay around. I think that's the responsibility of the town and the leadership to hold on to the heritage and find ways to do so.
Right.
But the place is going to grow.
Sure.
I think here and in Oro Valley, if you're in this area and you're just hell-bent on making sure that things don't grow, there's plenty of other places for you to go.
Right.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm totally open to say that, right? Because I do really feel that our success as a community and the growth for our children is important.
Right.
It's important for our children to
and we
have
want
stuff.
opportunities.
Yes,
exactly,
jobs
for our children.
and everything, right? And that's the thing I'm saying is all that includes jobs and opportunity, right? I think people get really fixated on the idea that, building's too tall or it's taking up too much space. I can't see that.
Yeah.
First off, you don't pay for the views. So sorry for you there. I mean, I've been on the other end of some kind of development that you're kind of like, man, but you have to understand it brings jobs and it does opportunity. And I think the term positive growth or good growth is important, right?
It is.
Crazy
and that's
nonsense,
something that Mayor Ed would always mention was responsible growth. He is also always looking at water usage, because we're out here in the desert, so that's an important thing,
right? And that's another purpose of the Marana Oro Valley Experience, the MOV Experience. Part of our community initiative impact initiative on that is we want to be a real provider of influence and growth.
Yeah.
Right. And not bad growth. We want to see growth. We want to see opportunities for folks to do things for when that person comes up with the courage and the idea to start a business and start a restaurant. They can go, you know what? I'm in Oro Valley or I'm in Marana, and these are the best places to do that.
Yeah.
This should happen, right? That's why it's when you get projects like that, like the Canaceria that pops up. It's that person that goes, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this on my own and I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, you need help. You need the community to have that buy-in instead of going, oh man, when you got another this and that. It's like you see it. You see the folks up in Gladden Farms and things like that complaining all the time. Oh, great, another corporate food chain. Yeah. Right? Another blank and blank. And I'm not knocking them, but it's like
they have their place.
They have their place, and they're going to come first. That's one thing people have to realize. Like the town can't go, and I'm not speaking for the town, but it doesn't make sense for the town to get involved and go, hey, we can't let that happen and all that stuff. We can't have food or whatever. But if we don't work together to come up with a plan and a way for the mom and pops to happen and the local flavor to happen, it won't happen.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, move is to help influence that and share posts and share those stories and share the success stories and how much the area means to people. And,
right.
We want to protect that. We want this to be the spot where people look up to and go, or look at and go, man, they're doing things right there.
Right. Oh yeah. Be attractive to people.
Right.
Yeah. Well, David, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ron.
Really
it's always
appreciate
great jumping on your show, and I really feel that you're one of the more awesome hosts in the podcast world in this whole region, and keep doing what you're doing. Be the light, man. Yeah, it's good to see positive stuff, and bring on more food, man. I would love to see.
I'll definitely bring on some more food. Yeah,
I reap the benefits because I get to eat some. I'm just kidding, but yeah, no, I think having some more food is always great. I tell every host,
bring more food in the building, right?
Yeah, man. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right, we will be right back after a couple sponsor messages.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday Mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
The summer is hot, but you don't have to be hot. Your air conditioner works hard to keep you cool all summer long. Call Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to keep your air conditioner running in tip-top shape for the long, hot summer. Our highly trained technicians will provide peace of mind knowing that you will be comfortable throughout the hot weather. Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. 520-492-0748.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
All right, welcome back to Southwest Flavor. Now we're talking with Ryan Collins of Be the Light Ministries. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how you doing this morning?
I'm blessed by the Most High.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Sir.
Every day is a blessing.
Amen. Amen. It's a gift.
Yeah, it is. So tell us a little bit about the ministry.
Be the Light Ministries is a ministry that the Lord put on my heart about 15 years ago. I didn't know it was a ministry then. It was just a thing He put on my heart to do.
Okay.
That thing was I'm a barber by trade.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. And it was to go into the parks, what we know as Santa Rita Park here in Tucson, and to cut some hair. And I was a disobedient, wayward son for a long time. I was a prodigal.
Okay.
When the Lord finally brought me back and gave me my ring and my robe, He said, "Okay, do what I told you to do." I have a brother who's out there in the streets, so it resonates close to home with me. Have a long battle of addiction myself. So when I started going and putting this plan into motion, okay, Lord, I'm gonna be just submissive to what You tell me to do. I'm gonna go in the park. I'm gonna cut hair. I'll bring a canopy, cut some hair, and just bless people with Your word and with Your love and Your kindness. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, the Lord often, you show up, He shows out.
Yeah.
You show up. That's all He asks of us, is to show up. So I said, okay, Lord, I'll do it. And slowly, no, I lied, very fastly, it turned into an event for the Lord, where we had my buddy's third day. Shout out to my buddy's third day. If you don't know him, he's an awesome man of God. He's a minister and a gospel rapper out of Phoenix, good friend of mine. He comes out and he's like, hey, I hit him up, like, can you come out and provide some music for me? He's like, yes. Really? I have a truck. It's called Compassion to Action, and we're going to bring this huge renovated box truck that we've turned into a stage out to your event.
Oh, wow.
All right, Lord. So just keep doing it. And the Lord just moved. And we had our first event that was out, and we called it Haircuts for Hope, Socks and Chops. We go out to the park, which was Santa Rita Park, and we blessed, I call them the hopeless. Most people, they're lacking hope. We blessed them with food, clothing, water, of course, haircuts. We had a young lady out there doing nails for the women that were out there. There was some deliverance that happened. There was children of God that came back to their first love.
Oh man,
and,
that's awesome.
The Lord just moved in a mighty way to breathe into us this ministry.
Wow. And you said, you're helping the hopeless.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing, because if you can breathe some hope into them and help them to get back on track.
Yes.
That's amazing. And that helps the whole community too, not just that one person.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. It's a lineage effect, it's part of standing in the gap and breaking those generational curses, and it's a battle. And I tell people, you got to be mounted up and ready for war, because it's a battle, but it's what we're called to do. Is me, I've been set free, so now I'm to return and help set others free.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your past.
A little bit about my past. I'll have to try to dumb this down and short it down. I was born in Tucson, Arizona, raised in Pittsburgh, born to a mother and father, good people. They have their battles. They have their struggles, as we all do, right? We're all born into sin. So they have their battles. They're very good people. Mother and father both have been on the opposite side of the law and of doing the righteous thing. Yeah. I'm glad they both returned back to doing what's right. But in my life, in my upbringing, it was a lot of riffraff, a lot of toxicity, a lot of moving around, a lot of not knowing, right?
Sure.
I often say that humans fear the unknown, and there was a lot of unknowns.
Yeah. Especially kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't know.
Right.
So what we don't know is a fear to us.
Yeah. Kids will rebel, but they always want that boundary, because you know how far you can push that boundary, because it's there. It's a safety net.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I often say that too. We yearn for that structure. That boundary, that guideline.
That's right.
So just through my upbringing, there was a lot of. Father was out in the drug dealer. My dad was doing his thing in the streets of drug dealing. My mom, in turn, got onto drugs, and she moved away from here to get off of drugs. And we moved to Pittsburgh. She met her husband, and we moved to Pittsburgh and had a pretty stable upbringing up there.
Oh, okay.
Then mom backslid and sent us back here at about 11. And came to be with my father at that point. lived
And
here.
he was still doing his thing?
Father had, at that point, had turned his life to Christ.
Wow.
My father got raided, had some horrible things happen in the home to my sister and by the SWAT team, just things that shouldn't have been encountered by an 11-year-old girl.
Right.
And it ultimately brought him back to his first love. It brought him back to Christ, and he turned his life around.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect timing. The culmination of God, right? The timing of God was, okay, my mom started to mess up. So she said, you guys go back to your dad because he's doing well.
Yeah.
And we came back here, and both my mother and father are good people. I love them to death, and I honor them as the word tells us, right? The first commandment. And he did his best, and he raised me as best he could at getting me back in a weird time frame of my life at that adolescence of puberty. And
so you're starting to rebel and everything.
Yes, sir. I was already rebelling in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Been a rebellious kid by nature. I like to keep it real and funky. I've been a rebellious kid by nature.
Most of us are, though, especially through those ages, through maybe like 11 through 15.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those
you're becoming a
ages.
man, but you're not quite there yet.
You're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you're trying to
right?
figure it out. Yeah.
You're trying to make a way. So my dad did his darndest to raise me up as well as he could. And I must say he did a good job with what he was given at the time. He got me into sports.
Oh,
said
good.
My older brother was a little more rebellious than I was at that time. Through his own hurts and traumas, he let them out. His outlet was anger, rage, rebellion.
Yeah.
Me, I wasn't so as mad at my father. I was just happy to be back with father.
Okay.
So raced dirt bikes. We raced motor BMX. My dad got me into sports. He said, you know what, I'm going to get you into sports right away because
it's an outlet.
It's an outlet, and he saw that my brother was kind of shooting off toward, and he's like, he's a couple years, he's 3 years older than me. So my dad's like, he's already at that 14-year-old age where, it's hard. So he put me into sports, and it's one of the best things other than Jesus and my wife and my children is the sports taught me so much about myself and character of who I was on the inside.
Yeah.
And
you have that structure in there too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sports always have structure.
We yearn for it.
Yeah.
Humans.
Yeah.
The human race.
Right.
Yearns for structure.
Yeah.
I often said that when I went to rehab. I'll get there. So played sports. My father was adamant that you're going to play sports. Did that. Had a great wrestling career. Was about to. I had two choices that I was facing. I was at a fork in the road in my life. I was just turned 18 years old.
Okay.
9/11 was, I graduated 05, so 9/11 was just a couple years, my freshman year.
Yeah.
My whole family is military one way. My grandfather is my uncle. Uncle was my cousin, so I wanted to go military. I was militant minded. You know what? This is our country, and this is what God gave us to protect.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
To steward and shepherd and protect.
Right.
So I wanted to go fight. Being a wrestler and a football player, I was gung ho.
Yeah.
To just go be of assistance. And it's funny, the Lord has plans. We make plans, and the Lord laughs, right?
Right.
A week before going into MEPS, I did my ASVAB testing, was going up to MEPS on a Saturday, and the Friday, 8 days before, I was riding home, got into an argument with my then high school girlfriend, or just out of high school, but my high school sweetheart. Got into a heated argument, met her at her work, and ended up exchanging some words. Took off from there on my way to my home, driving fast. Riding. I was on a motorcycle. Riding excessively fast.
Yeah.
And angry. I've accepted my accountability. I was struck by a drunk driver.
Wow.
Hit by a truck at 120 miles an hour. And the man was 3 times the limit of legal.
Yeah.
And what would be legality in Arizona. But I accepted my responsibility. If I wasn't driving young, dumb, and fool, you know what, then I would have not possibly been in that intersection. But the Lord has all things.
It's amazing that you're alive.
It's by His grace. I tell people say, "Oh, I'm so lucky to be alive." No. I'm not lucky. I'm blessed.
Yeah. You're here for a reason.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And it's finding out that purpose. That is huge. So I was struck by the drunk driver. Went through a hellacious time period of struggle of
just recovering
and trying to learn how to adjust the mind
Yeah.
You know, the mind
the mental aspect of it.
It's our
you
most
went
powerful
from
weapon.
playing sports and everything, and probably, you know, for a while, you couldn't do much of anything, right?
It was hard. I laid up in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Okay.
They had to put me into a 10-day coma.
Oh, wow.
In order to, I had
just for you to heal. Yeah.
8 surgeries in 7 days, and they were
Wow.
as far as hip and everything. Femur was broken, leg was amputated. Ultimately, they tried to save the leg for 2 days. So it was a time period, a season of figuring out how strong I really was, and when we are weak, He is strong.
Yeah.
And I went through that process, and it was a lengthy process. But I got right back at it as soon as I could. I mean, I was one of those guys. I'm going to defy the odds. If they tell me I'm not going to be able to stand for X amount of days, I'm going to stand. You know, it was just my attitude, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to meet this adversity head on, and I'm going to challenge it. And I did, and everything was wonderful. Working out one day, go through another. Tell my buddy, hey, we're walking in the gym, and I said, dang it, dude, my leg hurts. He said, man, you better not be just trying to pull my leg and not trying to work out. I said, hey, listen here, funny guy.
Yeah.
No pun intended on the pull of the leg, but my leg's hurting. And he's like, man, I don't believe you. I said, all right, we're going to do this workout.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you now, I have a pain that it's not normal. It's not normal.
Yeah.
So, and I deal with pain every day.
Yeah.
So this was not a normal pain. And we went to the workout, and I said, you're going to take me to the doctor, though. If I do this workout with you, because you're trying to discount my manhood in a sense, you're gonna take me. So
it's amazing some of the stuff that we do when we're young, you know.
Yes, it is. So I still did the workout, and he takes me in, and I have a break in the femur. It was a non-union; it wouldn't heal. So through that process, I had multiple extra surgeries to get the femur to heal. And in that processing of those surgeries, I became addicted to the pain medication.
Sure. Yeah.
My first set of surgeries, when I got out, I've seen addiction in my family. So I was cognitive of like, okay. And to be honest, I didn't like the medication.
Yeah.
So once I was continuing going down that, it's a long hallway of lights. Keep going down that operating hallway, and it so much pain. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give in. I'm going to take these things, right? And
you almost have to with so many surgeries and so much pain. I mean, you just have to manage it.
The problem is the management. And at first I did, my family was on top of it. We're not going to, nope. Like, I didn't want it, and they would give it to me like when I absolutely needed it.
Sure.
But slowly, the devil crept in my life with the combative of all the surgeries and the pain of it.
Yeah.
I started using the medicine and got into I was already selling drugs in a major way. I had my father, right, was a drug dealer at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So one of his cohorts, little brothers, would come around to my dad's automotive shop. So me and this man became friends. He was older than me by about 10 years, but he would always take a liking to me like a little brother.
Yeah, sure.
I called him Theo. He was family.
Yeah.
So when I actually before I got out of high school, I was selling drugs with him. But when I lost my leg, I was, man, what am I going to do? I don't really have financial aspects that I can just reach into and grab. So
yeah,
I went to him and was like, hey, remember what I used to come to you for? Let me start working again.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just giving, I'm going to keep it raw if that's okay. Instead of just giving me a little bit of an ounce of cocaine, he was like, hey, I got these trips you can make. And better yet, if you know somebody they can make them. I said, yeah, I know a guy. I got a brother who's just moved back from the East Coast because of my accident.
Mm-hmm.
So my older brother came back to be here. He's a protector.
Support, yeah.
And so he wanted to be here with the family. I said, I got a guy. I got a guy that'll work. I'll do what I do. I was making the transactions, making them work, being the guy, and my brother would transport them. This gentleman and I, we worked, my brother, we worked, and you trust, right? There's no honor amongst thieves, and you believe that, this person's good. And we ended up, I'll keep this, we ended up getting sold out. My brother
kind of got sacrificed, right?
Yes, sir. It was one of those blood sacrifices.
Yeah.
They knew our loyalty, and I believe in my heart of hearts that they knew they could sell us down that river.
Yeah.
And get what they needed in the long run.
Right.
So we were sacrificed. Ultimately, my brother took the charges and did 2.5 years in prison for those charges.
Okay.
And that time was a very dark time for me. I was having my first child.
Okay.
I was now out of the drug game for the most part, but I still had my hand in little deals that would keep me afloat, keep me survived.
Okay.
My first child was on the way, and I was trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Facing time in prison for being caught up, and we got pulled over together.
Oh, okay.
I was in the car behind him, not following him. I wasn't on a trail car. He just forgot his bag at home. So
wow.
Yes,
okay, you're trying to catch up to him.
He was trying to go the opposite. He should have been going the opposite way, but he forgot his bag. So I said, you know what? I'll just trail you to the house. Then you can get on the road. Because he was doing interstate driving.
Okay.
He was going up to the East Coast. So
that's federal charges, right?
Yes,
when
sir.
you cross the lines,
state lines. Yes, sir. So he was going up to Indiana. We get popped, and now we're facing charges, both of us. Intent to sell, and it wasn't a dangerous narcotic. Thank God, it was just not just, but it was marijuana.
Okay.
So we battled that court case. Like I said, I was having my first child on the way, and losing my best friend for a time being.
Yeah.
My brother and I, we are the closest. I mean, that's my guy.
Yeah.
So having him taken away at this vital time of my life, that I'm the first one of us kids to have a baby. We're very close. It was just a tumultuous time in my life.
Right. Your support system left you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although we have a big family, that was my person throughout life.
Right.
And I fell into what I didn't know then was a depression without my brother.
Yeah.
And I dove deeper into my addiction. My addiction got far worse at that point. Were
you still taking your medications from your
yes.
from your surgeries?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I was. Yes, it was getting pain medicines from the doctor. It started out that I would sell those. That was my buddy would call it my monthly stipend. And I would sell those for my prescription pain pills.
Yeah.
And when the devil really started to creep in and the darkness came in, it was like, well, you can just take it. That helps numb all of the pains, not just the physical pains.
Right.
I often tell people pain medicine won't take away your physical pain. It numbs your mind from feeling that pain. The pain is still there. I can promise you.
Yeah.
I've had my leg amputated and my hip, everything replaced. Torn open. I can promise you the pain is still there. It's just
you're blocking the sensors.
Blocking your pain sensors.
Yeah.
You're not actually taking the pain away. It doesn't dissipate. It's still there.
Right.
So yes, but on my prescription pain medication, it became an active addiction where I was no longer selling my pills. I was now taking them, and now I was buying more than I had because I was using more than what I was being given.
Wow, yeah.
So it very fastly turned into a full out addiction.
Yeah.
I kept it managed to other people. Like I said, I'm a barber by trade. I was able to keep a job, and most people didn't know. But to me, and I know a lot of people, it was prescribed. So therefore,
so it's okay.
The devil used that to tell me, hey, your doctor gives this to you. They went to school for this. They know what they're doing. Devil's a lie, and he's a punk, as I often say. So I started getting deeper and deeper into my addiction. My brother was gone. I had my first child, and just got into the new career of barbering. I did the barbering school. I did the barber school just to, in a sense, alleviate and appease the judge.
Oh, okay.
Because I was being charged. So my good friend is a barbershop owner, and he himself is a man of God, and he had served his time for what he did. And he was saying, Ryan, you might as well go to school for barbering, dude. You always do your own beard. It looks good. Like, do something to make the judge see that you're not just a bonehead.
Show him that you're productive.
I am a bonehead. That's all I knew. And he said, yeah, well, we got to switch that. So I went to barber school and said, I'll just try it to appease the judge. Did that, and throughout now I've been a barber 16 years. I'm getting out of it, but I'll keep it for ministry and for those I love.
Yeah.
I thank the Lord for the gift, but it's time for me to move and do something different. So he had told me, go to barber school. Okay, I went to barber school and was still just missing throughout my life. I call it a void.
Okay.
There was a void. I could feel like a literal, actual void in my sternum to my belly that was always missing. I knew the Lord since I was about 11 years old.
Oh, okay.
I've known him. My father, when he backslid and came back to the Lord after his issues with the law, it really introduced me to who the Lord was.
All right. So he made that part of your life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I had that faith.
Yeah.
No matter what, it was the unmovable rock in my life that the Lord is constant. So I was into the barbering thing, and was still just searching. So I then again got back into using drugs, selling drugs, and just the people I was hanging out with, the people that I was, conversing and spending my time with were not so savvy people. So I got back into, my brother had got home from prison.
Okay.
He was not yet reformed. So we were back into doing things we shouldn't have been doing. I had multiple things happen to me that the Lord just kept touching me. Been gone through a windshield in a head-on collision.
Oh, wow.
Just shy of going through it, but head went through. The Lord has just showed me so many times. I've been, in my street life, I've been shot at 6 times at least. I was trying to count one time, and I said at least, guns pulled and shot at, not in the air, like shot at. And these are nothing to, I never glorify that life. It's disgusting what the enemy does. So, I stand on that.
Yeah.
But I do know that the Lord has had his hand in my life for so many different scenarios that it's undeniable. And I tell people it's unequivocal that it's him.
Right.
That it's him. I led down, once I went down that path again, it was even darker and even longer that I went down that path. I started, now there was no more, the doctors in town were not as easily accessible.
Yeah.
Because of all the DEA guidelines and regulations and them coming down on them, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But it's a constructed government system. I truly believe this. So they started closing down what they called the pill mills, right? And then you had an option. That option was the new drug that came out was fentanyl. So there was now and at first I was one of those guys. I'm like, no. I'll pay the top dollar for the oxycodone. I'm not doing that.
Right.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
But the devil don't stop with just, hey, do this. It's, hey, well, might as well. So I got into, I'll do the fentanyl. It's cheaper. It's more accessible. I don't have to go to a doctor for it. I just go to the guy in the corner.
Right.
I got into doing fentanyl, and that's when the devil really took some bites into me and hooked his hooks into me. My life just took a turn for, I was on a very fast de-escalation to hell.
Right.
If I could be so honest with you and myself, I tell people that the enemy hates me now because I was once one of his greatest soldiers. And now he's coming at, and that's fine. I stand against him, and I stand firm on the foundation of my cornerstone, Jesus, that I'll take him on.
Right.
But he's coming after, he comes after what he wants.
Oh, yeah.
And he ripped, I say, Jesus is a gentleman, but the devil's a rude and crude dude. He ain't asking your permission. He don't care what you think. He's coming in, and if you give him an inch, he takes 10 miles.
Yeah.
And he came in my life in a big way of holding me to my addiction and my lifestyle. I was a drug dealer. I was a drug user. I ran people. I ran guns. I would launder. I would run money. It didn't matter as long as it made me some.
Yeah.
And he ran rampant in my life, and I had to fight very hard to get him out of my life and to rebuke him and to stand against him. Going through all of that, I knew the Lord was there. I knew it. I felt him. I heard him, and it was just being disobedient. It was living for my flesh and doing what I wanted to do. And he kept calling me. But again, I tell people, God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, they don't bombard your life.
Yeah.
They knock and they give you the opportunity to do what is righteous, but they're not going to we're not puppets or minions. They're not going to make you do it. They give you free will.
You have free will, and you have that choice.
You have a choice.
Yep.
We have 2 choices. I teach my kids, right and wrong.
Yeah.
The only 2 choices there is. There's no gray areas. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong.
That's right. And there's consequences for either one.
For both.
Yeah.
Newton's law, right?
Yeah.
For every action. There's a positive or negative reaction. That's right. Period. My wife and I were just teaching our middle son this last night.
Let's take a quick sponsor break, and then we'll have a short segment after that. So we will be right back with Southwest Flavor.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve, through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
Looking for a delicious meal or a place to cater your next event? Visit Tucson Tamale Market, located at 7286 North Oracle Road. They're a family-friendly restaurant and market offering authentic tamales and local products. Don't miss their summer bi-weekly specials. Try a new $10.99 meal special every couple weeks. Planning a special event? They've expanded their catering menu and are offering 15% off all catering orders through May 31st. Just use the code GRAD25 at checkout.
Shipping packages is a facet of modern commerce. At Tucson Pack and Ship, we work with major delivery companies to make sure your goods get where they need to go. In addition to shipping, we also offer private mailboxes, notary services, and document shredding. We'll also safely pack your valuable items. Tucson Pack and Ship, Tucson's one-stop packing and shipping source.
Like heat and air, we're in a state of disrepair.
The summer is hot, but you don't have to be hot. Your air conditioner works hard to keep you cool all summer long. Call Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to keep your air conditioner running in tip-top shape for the long, hot summer. Our highly trained technicians will provide peace of mind knowing that you will be comfortable throughout the hot weather. Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, keeping you cool all summer long. 520-492-0748.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
If you ever have water damage or mold, your only call should be to Steamy Concepts.
Yeah, but what if the insurance company says to hire someone else?
Nope, Steamy Concepts works for you and not them.
The internet has tons of options.
No way, you don't gamble with water damage.
But the handyman knows a different guy.
Absolutely not. No way, you just call Steamy Concepts today.
But some companies are cheaper.
And you get what you pay for. You don't want to mess with water damage wannabes.
We're calling Steamy Concepts today.
All right, welcome back. We're talking with Ryan Collins, and we've been hearing his life story. And let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now. You were telling us off air that you have services, you have church services?
Yes, sir. So the Lord had told me, I asked him, as a child should. I went to him and said, Lord, what can I do for you?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you need me as the oxen who plows the field? Where can I be of assistance? And he keeps telling me to go back to the pit. We just got done doing our first annual Hope in One charity golf tournament, and we raised funds for children who have lost their parents to overdose.
Oh,
it's a very specific lane that the Lord told me to go back and testify to those who are at where my children could have been.
Yeah,
I had 10 overdoses in my life, so
wow,
it was put on my heart to do that, and in the melee and the craziness of putting on a golf tournament was my first one. The Lord showed me that I can throw and hold events. So in that melee, I said, Lord, where do you need me? Like we're raising these funds, where do you need me? And he said again, I need you in the pits.
Mm.
So I said, okay, Lord, and sat down with our ministry team and said, the Lord's telling me for us to assemble up as warriors. And if Jesus was to return today, he would be not in your church, not in my church, not in the biggest churches in town or the biggest churches in the United States. He would be in the streets.
Yeah.
He would be finding his children. So I said, okay, Lord, I want to be like you. That is my goal. I want to emulate my Lord. I want to look like you. I want to return a vessel that is a mirror to him. And in my heart, I want to be more like him. So I said, okay, Lord, I have a brother, as I said, who's out in the street still. And ministry team, I said, let's come together. Let's go out into the desert. Just as, the children of Egypt that they were wandering, these are children that are wandering because the devil has tempted them and has gotten them to a point. So we started holding church service out at 100 Acres. Off of Golfing St. Swan. We go out there, we bless with food, with clothing. We take shoes, clothes, food, as I said, water bottles. I have a speaker, and we take it out and we worship, and we just bless and praise the name of Jesus and our Heavenly Father, and we give a word, and we break bread and we fellowship with those who don't feel. I often say people want to be seen, heard, and felt.
Right. And the people out there, most of them don't feel like they're part of society, right?
No, sir. They feel like that's why I call them hopeless.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily just homeless. They're hopeless. They've lost hope in themselves. Humanity first, then themselves, or vice versa.
Right. Are they pretty open to listen to the word?
Yes. Just this last weekend, we had 4 gentlemen not only give their lives, but singing praise and worship in the middle of the desert with us.
Oh, wow.
And these are gentlemen that live out there. These aren't the gentlemen that we take on our team. These are gentlemen that live and reside in the desert.
Wow.
Singing and praising, lifting their hands to the sky. I bet it's been a long time since any of them have done that.
Right.
But we are to plant seeds.
Yeah.
And let God water and grow. It's his job. Our job is just to be the seed planter. He's the harvester.
Right.
And so we're breaking ground in the enemy's territory. And I tell people, for those who will see, I'm a rugged dude. I'm not what some would consider. Oh, that's you're local. You're a typical minister or pastor. I'm not a pastor, but that's not your typical minister. Well, God equips the called.
Yeah.
He doesn't call the equipped, right? Yeah. So he equipped us, and we go out there and they receive it. And they, like I said, we've had somebody give their life every weekend we've been out there. To me, all the heaven rejoices for that one, because then the Holy Spirit has a chance to move.
Yeah. When
their heart posture is opened up and they say, I receive the Lord. So it's how the Lord's moving out there. It's a beautiful thing. We're delighted to be able to go out there and love on people. It's ultimately a faith, hope, and love, but the greatest gift is love.
Do you find it hard? Have you ever found it hard to go back out onto the streets? Is there that temptation there?
Thank Jesus. I give all praise and all glory unto him. I was just telling my son last night, because I go covered in the anointing of the Holy Spirit, I thank God I've never had a temptation. Okay. I walk into, I almost want to call them dark alleyways of the desert, because they have encampments they have TVs in there. They have living room setups and bedroom setups.
They have whole communities out there.
It's quite impressive to see. I mean, they were resourceful.
Yeah.
But we walked through this little alleyway, I call it, and just this last Saturday, there's 8 gentlemen hitting the foil, smoking a blue. My what was the enemy's tactic of choice against me. But we stand firm in the foundation. Okay. And I thank God that every day of my life that he has set me free, and he who is free indeed. And I tell people, you'd have to kill me to take this from me. No, you'd have to physically kill me, because this is my badge of honor, and I wear this as a soldier. This is my coat of arms, if you must.
Right.
That I stand on the faith and the shield of Christ, and on that is, you're not taking this from me. I'm now coming to help set the captives free. I'm helping to do what was done for me. So no, I don't, thank God, I don't have that temptation, and I don't have an urge in my everyday period. And I was a 20-year addict. I used 120 fentanyl pills a day with an 8 ball of meth or an 8 ball of cocaine every day of my life. for 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Every day. So I used to pray on those on my knees and cry out and Lord, take this from me. And he did. I don't have an urge. I don't have a want. And I have pain.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm an amputee. I got to get hips replaced and knee replaced before I'm 40. In the next couple of years, like I have pain.
Mm-hmm.
But greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. And I rebuke him and I stand against him.
Man.
It's the only way to do it.
It is. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
I'd love to have you on again sometime.
Anytime. I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. You just watched another episode of Southwest Flavor. Catch us every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. We'll see you on Thursday.
We love y'all.